Hey guys, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I'm so excited to be sharing with you the 8th update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows Project Pan. I am sure a lot of you guys out there are super excited as well because this is just such a fun project pan. It's so much fun to see pan in eyeshadows and to see eyeshadow palettes getting use, and I've just been enjoying this so much. I love watching other people's versions of this project pan as well, and I have to endlessly thank my friend Alexi for the inspiration behind this. She did this back in 2017 and in 2018, and I loved following along with her project then, and I've just had as much fun doing it on my own this year as I did watching her last year and the year prior to that. I highly suggest that you go check out her channel for some panning inspiration and just makeup look inspiration. And yeah, I am just so excited to share with you guys all of my progress so far for this past month. I'm sure that you are just as excited as I am to hop into it. So let's just get right on into it and start with the Urban Decay Electric palette. This has been in this project actually for a few months at this point, and yeah, it's gonna stick around for a while longer, I think. So the shade that I'm working on is this green shade right here. I cannot get this to just stay still. Okay, so the shade that I'm working on is this one right here. This is called Thrash, and like I said, I have not yet hit pan on it. It is something that I haven't really used a ton, and that's simply because of the nature of this type of shade. So this is a yellow-based green. It's extremely vibrant, neon, nuclear kind of green shade, and I do have a really decent dip in here actually, but it's something I just can't reach for on an everyday basis. I can't reach for it all that frequently, and honestly, I'm not gonna say I'm burnt out by this, but I do feel like there's only a certain number of looks that I personally can create with this shade. I love using it on the inner corner. I love it on the lower lash line. It's a great crease kind of color, but I've kind of hit a wall with what kind of looks I can create outside of those ones and outside of all the looks that I've created over the last few months having this in this project. However, I do want to keep using it in this project pan. I don't want to take it out of here, and I do want to keep playing with it. It's just something that I might not end up seeing pan on by the end of this year, and I'm okay with that. I do just want to keep playing with it. I'm just doing a swatch here. This is the shade, like I said, it's like that yellow-based kind of green. It is so freaking pretty and so fun and so my kind of color because I love grungy eyeshadows and lipsticks and just grungy kind of colors in general. But it's just something, like I said, I just can't use it all the time, and so it's a really slow going process. This next shadow comes from the Fenty Beauty Galaxy palette. This is the second shadow in this palette that I've had in this project pan actually, and the shade that I'm working on is called Space Out. No, not Space Out, that was what I was working on in the past. It is called Planet X, and it's the third shade right here on the top row. It's that beautiful milk chocolate kind of shade, and unfortunately still no pan, like you just saw. No pan, but amazing looking dip actually. You can see here, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but there is quite a dip in this pan. Like definitely gonna be hitting the bottom of it very soon, and I cannot wait to do that. If I had used it as many times as I thought I could use it this month, it's possible it could have hit pan, but I've only used it 5 times this month, and today is that 5th time. I used it on my lower lash line today as well as on like the outer corner of my lid, and I do think it looks absolutely beautiful. I really do like this shade, but it is a little bit more finicky, so it is something that I have to use a wet brush with or use my finger to apply with, and so it's just something I don't use all the time just given the nature of the type of application. But also I do find that this color looks very heavy on me, and even though my eyes are hooded, it really does close off my eyes even more, and it is quite deep on my skin tone, so you can see it really does create quite a smoky eye, which I love the look of it. It's just not something I can reach for on an everyday basis. So definitely gonna keep this in this project. I love it. I am really happy that I'm reaching for this palette as a whole, and I think I should be able to hit pan on it next month. I hope so. I really do think I'm close though. I must be able to hit pan on this really soon. So if I reach for it another like 5 to 10 times this month, I think I should be I should be in the clear. I should actually hit pan on it. This next shadow is a single from Colourpop. This was from their 3rd birthday. This is called the Big 3. It is a white shadow in the pan, but it actually is more like a silvery blue kind of shade. And I do have it actually on top of another like purpley pink shadow on my inner corner today, just to give it more of a blue kind of tinge. And I have not yet hit pan on this. I'm sure you already saw that. I don't even really have much of a dip, but there is a little bit of a dip happening. Today was the 3rd time that I reached for this, and actually the time previous to this, I wore this with like a completely bare eye. I just had like a setting kind of shade across my lid, and then I had this on the inner corner, but I really blew it out and pulled it like across into my lid a little bit. And I loved the way it looked like that. So I'm gonna be wearing it more often like that, but because I am panning so many shadows, I don't want to neglect the other shadows just to use this as like an inner corner highlight. But it is a really fun shade. It has that silvery blue kind of reflect that is so out of my comfort zone. So I have been enjoying incorporating this into a variety of looks. It's just something, like I said, it's just not an everyday kind of shade for me. So it's slower going. Honestly, don't think I'm gonna hit pan on this anytime soon or within this year. I am enjoying it. I am happy this is part of the rotation. I just forget about reaching for it because I keep it in this palette, which only has my Essence Silky Touch blush in it as well. So when I reach for the blush, I just don't even notice this. I don't even think about this. So maybe, actually now I'm just thinking, maybe I should pull a couple more singles into that palette or into this palette, and so that I have a few more shades that I'm reaching for more frequently, and maybe a couple shades that I can pair with this one too. I never thought about doing that before just now. So yeah, maybe I will do that so that I remember to reach for that shadow a little bit more often. So this next shadow comes from the Colourpop Pretty Much palette. This is a pressed pigment palette, and there's only 6 shades in here. And the shade that I'm working on is called OTP. It's this pinky shade right in the middle. As you can see, clearly I have not yet hit pan on it, but that's okay. I am working slowly but surely on this one. I've actually used it 4 times this month, which is not great, but it definitely is better than some of the other shadows that are a part of this project. So I don't feel too unmotivated by that. I actually have really enjoyed incorporating this into looks because pink is just not something I reach for very often. And sorry about the lighting, but as you can see here, there is a swatch of it. It has quite a like pinky purpley kind of base to it. It's such a pretty shade, but it's just, again, not one of the kinds of shades that's like an everyday kind of color for me. So this shade selection really is something that challenges me creatively, but it's a lot of fun. I'm not unhappy with any of these shadows that are in here. It just, again, is something that I just don't use all the time because of the color that it is, but that's okay. I'm enjoying using it. I'm really happy this is a part of this project. I don't think it will be too much longer before I hit pan on it because Colourpop shadows are not the deepest eyeshadows, at least in my experience, but we'll see. We'll truly just have to wait and see. Hopefully this month I reach for it more often than I did in the past, and maybe I'll have pan soon. Who knows? Next up is my Urban Decay Born to Run palette, and there actually are 2 shadows in this palette that are part of this project pan. So the last 2 shadows that I have to talk to you guys about today. First one has been in here for I think only 2 months now, and I'm trying to cover up the other one. This is called Breakaway, and I'm not sure if you can tell because it's just the teeniest little pan, but there definitely is a little speckle of pan there, and I'm super excited about that because I did hit pan on that only a handful of days ago, and it took me 19 uses this month in order to hit pan. That tiny little fleck of pan took 19 more uses. Last update, I had used this 23 times when I first put this into this project, and that means I've used it 23 plus 19, 42 times in order to hit pan on it. I haven't touched it since I hit pan on it. So 42 uses to hit pan on it. I had probably used it a couple of times before that, but that's insane. That's a lot of use in order to hit pan on that shadow. And I'm so excited that I did hit pan on it. And the other shadow that is out of this palette is the one right next to it. It's called Stranded. It is that gorgeous, like medium gold kind of shade It really is a beautiful, beautiful eyeshadow, and you can see I clearly have not yet hit pan on it, but I'm definitely starting to see some wear on that eyeshadow, which makes me super excited. I actually used it 15 times this month simply because it is such a good everyday neutral for me. So I would set my lid with Breakaway and I'd buff that up like even into my crease towards my brow bone, and then I would just use my ring finger to apply Stranded and just pull it up towards my crease. And that was my entire eye look multiple times this month. I did use this a handful of times like other ways for sure, but that was like an everyday kind of look for me. Just a little bit of metallic, a little bit of something light on my lids, but nothing too structured, and I really did enjoy that. And as you can see, actually, I did hit a bonus pan in this palette. So this shade right here called Weekender, I hit pan on this month just by gravitating towards this palette, just by using this palette. That was an easy crease shade for me, very light, very forgiving kind of shade. If I wanted a little bit more structure when I was working with Stranded, I would reach for that one, but generally it's just a really great like blending kind of shade for any look at all, and I reached for this all the time. Clearly I managed to hit pan on it relatively fast. This is actually the second newest palette in my collection. I've only had this in my collection for a few months now, so it's exciting to see 2 new pans in there, and hopefully I can hit pan on Stranded relatively soon as well. And right there is a swatch of Stranded, which is just a beautiful golden kind of tone. It's so easy to wear. It's like the perfect everyday kind of neutral, and so this is still a part of this project, but I actually feel like it's not going to be too much longer. I feel like this is something I will be able to roll out of this project relatively quickly, but we will see in due time. And with that being said, I did actually roll one shadow out of this project, which was Breakaway from the Born to Run palette, so I will be rolling a new shadow in today. I have my Google spreadsheet up. I recently added the, oh, it's behind me, the Norvina palette to my collection. So that's 25 additional eyeshadows, and clearly none of those have pan on them. So I am up to 278 eligible eyeshadows. That means 278 eyeshadows in my collection that do not have pan on them that I can potentially roll into this project. So I'm just gonna generate a new eyeshadow that we're gonna work on for an indefinite amount of time. So I have variables of 1 to 278 in pretty random, and the number I have is number 125. So I'm just gonna grab that from my spreadsheet so I can share with you guys what it is. So it is, it's finally a Colourpop Super Shock Shadow. Let me see, I feel like I might actually have pan on that and might have forgot to mark it. It's Colourpop LaLa, so let me just go see if I have pan on it. So this is Colourpop LaLa, and I thought I had pan on this, but I do not have pan on this, so I am so excited to be rolling this into this project pan. This is the first Colourpop Super Shock Shadow that I have rolled in, and I love this eyeshadow so much. This is such a pretty coppery, warm kind of shade, and I love this, like the formula. I love everything about this. I know I'll be able to hit pan on this relatively soon, but I am gonna try my hardest to be very nice and even with wearing down the pan. I really want to wear down the edges. But there is that little, like, I call it the nipple of the pan. Colourpop Super Shock Shadows have like that tiny little like raised part in the middle, and yeah, it's just like, yeah, the nipple of the pan in my mind. I don't know why. Anyways, so I don't want to hit that and still have a ton of product around it. I really do want to try to be nice and even with it. So I likely will end up not wow, can I speak? I will likely end up hitting pan on this within the next month because there is so much wear on this already, but I might just want to keep it in the project. Who knows? I just love this shade so much. It's this beautiful coppery kind of shade you can see on the bottom there. It's got a beautiful metallic finish. This is so effortless and easy to wear, and it'll go perfectly with Stranded as well. So I'm really excited for this color being added to this project, and yeah, I'm super excited for this. So thank you for all of your patience with the craziness of the sun right now. It's been in and out this entire time that I've been trying to film, but I hope that you guys enjoyed watching today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching and for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.